the episode is about making sure traditional marriages in Nigeria is recognized by international communities. I mean, it was interesting. The purpose of Nigeria joining UNESCO is so that our tradition and culture and language is being promoted, just like its members, right? So it is very important that also our traditional marriages is being respected and given its right accordance, I just need you guys to watch this episode. They also said that if men want, they can marry as much as 20 wives. Hey! Is that even possible? Guys, watch it so that you can open your mouth with me. Let me know your comments in the comment section. I'll see you guys later. Don't miss me too much, like I said. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye. And ignore my gele. I know it's horrible. I accept. I made it myself. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye.
Good evening and welcome to Open Mic Show today. Today we have a very, very interesting topic that has to do with us Africans in diaspora. Matters about traditional wedding. Before we go further, I would like to introduce my guest today. Please, sir, tell us your name.
My name is Ben, and I'm from Oredo Local Government, Edo State, Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Ben. On my right here, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Harry and Bola Talk Show. My name is Victor Okundia from Ovia Northeast Local Government of Edo State,
Thank you
Nigeria.
very much. And here we have a visitor from Nigeria.
Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is Honorable Johnson Osenige Elema from the Elema Royal Home in Benin, Edo State, Nigeria.
Also, which means we have a prince among us today.
Yeah.
Welcome to Canada.
Thank you very much.
How was the trip to Canada?
Yeah, very okay. As I said earlier, I supposed to see a different thing entirely, but what I'm seeing now is a good one.
Great.
And the weather is friendly, which has never happened in the history of Canada for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm. Great weather we have this year.
Where you can move freely.
And then, how did you hear about this show and you decide to come all the way from Nigeria to...
Yes. I've been hearing of Bola and Harry show. I say, okay, let me just come and see things myself. That is why I'm here.
It's well appreciated, much appreciated. You're welcome to Canada. We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, Victor, you said you had something to say earlier before we kick off the show.
Yes, when I told Prince about Bola and Harry show, or Harry and Bola show, and I said they are doing wonderful things, especially in the Nigeria setting, and for them bringing such talk show into our society like this, they voice out so many things that has been hidden. So I told Prince about it. Prince said, "Are you sure about that?" I said, "Yeah. If you want to come to Canada, I think they will be glad to host." He said, no problem. Before the end of the year, I will make myself available in Canada. Then I told Prince, if you are coming to Canada, get well dressed. Dress properly because the winter is here. Mm-hmm. So he now said, oh, okay. But when he come, we will know that the prince has arrived. So I told him, winter does not know prince, but just try and dress properly. He said, when my presence comes, you will feel it.
And we felt it.
And to my greatest surprise, since he came, the weather has been plus. It has never happened in the history of Canada.
That's great.
January,
so he brought
December, the luck. For plus, it's supposed to be minus 20, 25, 30.
And in a positive right
so now we still can wear singlet.
That's good. Welcome.
We are seeing the royal home in our midst.
Welcome to Canada.
Thank
Montreal,
you
Quebec.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kick it off. Today's show, we're going to be talking about, the topic is going to be a little bit of explanation. Sometimes, we here in the diaspora, we fall in love, go back home to get married and then do our traditional wedding, which we are known for. And for some reason, when we decided to bring our spouse here to Canada, our traditional wedding, it's not recognized by any government. So we don't know why. We understand that there's supposed to be some documentation that govern that or prove that these people got married. But when we do traditional wedding, and if back in our forefathers, we never did that. There was no documentation, but those marriages are valid. So we want to talk about it. How can we change this? Why is this happening in the first place? Why are traditional marriages not recognized by the government or outside Nigeria? So that's why we're here today. So, Mr. Victor, what's your take on that?
Actually, I want Prince Elema to handle the topic first, because he was once an honorable with the local government and former speaker of the local government. And under the customary law and custom, you have the native law and custom traditional marriage. And he has a lot to say about that. I want him to open up the topic because he was in charge in the traditional council.
So he's the right man for us.
He's the right man for
Perfect.
So thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. You started it, and I will explain a little.
Okay.
The traditional marriage is supposed to be recognized internationally. If you see the local government, they have their own, which is called the registry. The registry is a situation where you marry to a woman and you have one wife, you cannot add another to it. That is for the local government, as it were known. Mm-hmm. But the traditional marriage we are talking about, they have the native law and custom, which is supposed to be for the tradition, but the local government adjust it. Yes, they add it to their registry.
Okay.
That is it. So if you now do a native law and custom that can also permit you to have more than one wife, which is supposed to be for the tradition, all these things supposed to be from the royal institution in Nigeria, even in Edo, like our palace in Benin, they're supposed to handle this issue, but the local government, they have adjusted it. They add it to their registry. So that is why if you now go to do your own, we're supposed to issue that certificate, that native law and custom, then the local government will issue the certificate for you, and that is the one that is recognized in the international institution. Then if you see, there is another one, like the Ministry of Interior. It's for the federal government. Mm-hmm. The Ministry of Interior, they now come up with they issue a certificate that is recognized by the international body. Then that certificate, when they now say that the Ministry of Interior will like not taking over from the local government, the federal government came and wanted to take it over from the local government, then the local government now have to take the Ministry of Interior to the court. As we speak now, they are still in court in Nigeria.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Anyone?
Yes, as regard what Honorable Elema just said, you see, the chief custodian of our culture, where I came from Edo State, and we use Nigeria as a case study. We have the royal fathers, which are supposed to be the chief custodian of each culture from every region. Like in Benin Kingdom, the custodian of our culture is the Omonoba Nedu Kuakbolokbolo, Obaeware the Great. I think his presence in the state supersedes the local government, because the local government does not even know the culture they are imbibing into people that are coming to marry or into the registry. Because it's like you're marrying in the church, you're meeting a reverend father. They give you a date for seminars, workshops, how the do's and don'ts are in what you are venturing into. But in the traditional setting, Nobody is taking track of that. They just come, we are doing traditional marriage, where they are regalia, they come, they pray for them, and that's all. They want that marriage to be recognized. No. There should be on my own a body that will be set up. If I'm a Yoruba man, like I'm from Lagos, the Oba of Lagos should have affiliation with every traditional marriage setting in Lagos State, which his signature will be on the marriage certificate, because you don't know the laws of the land. He is the custodian of the law of the land. He will tell you the regalia, the dress code of a traditional wedding. It's like you are marrying in the church and you wear hat and a joggers. The Reverend Father will not permit that. They have their costume on how you are going to dress. The same way it appears in all traditional marriage setting. They should be from the royal house, be the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Beninese. They should come up with a way that every marriages that is taking place should have affiliation with the royal house, and they will send delegates to witness the marriage. Then the royal father will certify and sign, and there will be a backup call in case the international committee want to verify for verification purpose that this is fake or real. That's my take on that.
Thank you. Mr. Ben.
That's a very, very interesting take. I really appreciate the elaboration you made, and I thank you, Mr. Honorable, for your good job for serving the people, for all that you've done, and I hope we will expect many more from you.
Thank you.
But I would like to say something very meaningful. Yes, it is true that it is good that the governing body should be set up, which will enhance and further our international recognition, because Nigeria, we're full of dialects and we're full of different cultures, but this culture is getting eroded by the influx of the westernization of our culture. So this culture, for you to take effect, it has to do with instituting something meaningful in terms of how those traditional marriages should be recognized and how it can be recognized. That is my take on that, and I think we will elaborate on things to do on how to ensure that there will be no fraud in those institutions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ben. So, which means we all agree that this is a problem in the community right now, and it's a problem in Nigeria as a whole. And so, what measures do you think we should take in order to eradicate this rejection of traditional marriages internationally?
Thank you very much. I think, like our Obas, they have to call me and put up a letter informing the international body, or even through the government of our country, Nigeria, that these are supposed to be their duty and responsibility, not the local government, where a civil servant will just, come up and tell you that he has satisfied this marriage, therefore it is now authority, who's supposed to be the duty of the traditional institution in the country. I think our Obas or our high chiefs, they have a very important role to play in regards to this, so that our traditional marriage certificate should be recognized in the international order. I think
as it is right now, if I go to my village to get married in front of the Oba or the Malams, because I'm a Muslim, right? after the marriage, there will be not official document. You understand that? So yes, we're married, we're in love, everything is good, everybody knows that, but I can't come tell the Canadian government I'm married and these are my photos and take it. There has to be, it doesn't really matter if it's in Arabic or whatever language. What they want is when you bring that document to Canada here, you have to translate it to either English or French. But right now we don't even have any documents, sort of document at all. So that's where the problem is.
What you're saying is, we're looking for a form of a testimony, like a testimonial to show that such event took place
exactly
in a short distance path.
Yeah.
So in terms of doing that, like instituting that, for us to like get ahead with that, we have to come up with a modality on how we can reconcile the official government or federal government stipulation with our culture. Because if we cannot reconcile that, it will be a very difficult bottleneck, because in the Western world, or the world in general, like the global village, they recognize to one man, one wife. But there are other cultures who stipulate to you can have multiple relationships. Like a man can have multiple wives, and which our culture permit, but because of the westernization of our culture, those such marriages are not recognized. So in order to recognize that, the first thing we ought to think about is how can we reconcile our culture with the Constitution of Nigeria as a jurisdiction.
That's a very valuable point. Sorry, Mr. Let me contribute exactly to what Mr. Ben just said. The measure we, the populace, should be considering first. We have the different tiers of government, especially in the state. We have the State House of Assemblies, which could legislate laws that will empower the traditional ruler, which is the custodian of the culture. These laws will empower them to set up a ministry that will be in charge of the traditional marriage, which the government in power will now recognize that this ministry is in charge of this traditional marriage. And it's another source of revenue, either to the state or to the local government and to the royal house, because there are going to be staff managed in that ministry. And the marriage counselors, which you or the palace will be sending to each marriage geographical location to say, I witnessed the marriage ceremony between Harry and Bola. I was there, and they will certify. I'm just making
an example.
They will certify and sign, and there will be a number to call back, or verification number, in case the international community wants to verify the validity of that certificate. But these are not in place. So we are trying to put this show across, or throwing more light to the international community, which I know from your channel, from your talk show, everybody watching all over the world, that there's something like this in place that will be taking place very soon. Because even as we talk now, the whole world is watching. If these modalities are put in place, in a couple of while, the House of Assembly members should be able to come up, because none of the House of Assembly members that will say they don't have a wife at home. They went through either the church or the Muslim. No one is going through the traditional marriage. They went through the traditional marriage, which is not registered. Everybody will marry at home. No certificate is given. Now when they want to fly abroad, they need that Muslim certificate or the Christian certificate, which their traditional marriage attire they put and decorate the house with has no certificate.
Because traditional marriage is beautiful.
So the beauty of it now is for them to put that burden upon themselves to legitimize the system, whereby the whole world will now embrace it.
Yes.
The costume is beautiful. So it's not a thing that should be hidden. the custodians of our culture are our obas. So they should involve directly these obas to be the sole custodian of this culture. So if they are sending somebody to represent the palace for your marriage, you provide logistics and the person come and witness and they sign. It's recognized. It's the same thing like somebody in Canada. In Canada, 2-3 people can just get married and they issue certificate and the government recognizes it.
Yes.
So even the divorce process will still be the same thing. If you want to divorce through, you go through the same process you came in. And for the divorce, and there is money to be paid. Imagine I'm getting married, I pay 25,000 or 20,000 for the traditional marriage setting, and if I am divorcing, I pay 50. So these are areas to generate revenue. And if you want to marry more than one, maybe you pay 150. You want to marry your third wife, you pay 300,000. It goes like that. So you now find out this will regulate the entire system of abusing our women and abusing the men. That when me as a traditional man is married to my traditional woman, once I am fed up with it, I say, go to your father's house. You don't just go like that. You still have to go to the same place you got married and seek for divorce, just like the way it works here. You don't just come and say, hey, I am done with you, get out. That is what happened in my place. Hey, go to your father's house, just like that. In Canada, you cannot say, go to your father's house. You go through the process
of course,
you got married. And they will now give you a date where you come. And they cancel both of you. Say, no, we can't do it anymore. They say, okay, get a letter for divorce. And with this process now, the divorce payment for the divorce is higher than the one you pay for remarriage. So the divorce process is even more difficult compared to the process of getting married. So when we now know this in the traditional setting too, then we now know how to treat our women better and treat our men better, because the process is going to be very rigorous.
And also to add to that point too, which is a very beautiful point you make, and a very brilliant one. Not only that, it will help to strengthen and wax strong the marriage institution in our own culture, because these days, like, you know, the moral decadence is falling so bad that even the marriage is like taken for a joke.
Yes,
but if you're going through a traditional wedding where it's not because of how many cow you can buy, how many Bentley you can park in front of the house, but you're going to see eminent cultural men coming to witness it and also certifying. If you guys are not fit to marry, or they see it's not a fit thing, they can also speak to it because it's going to be part of their jurisdiction. It's just this institution we're talking about, advocating for to be created. It will work in such a miraculous way, a marvelous way. It's going to be an amazing thing if our chief custodian, the chiefs and the enogis and the emirs and the malans can actually come together and understand that the obas, that we are losing our cultural heritage to the Western influx of marriage system. It's not like we're not, entertaining or welcoming to the Western culture. It is your choice. But for those of us who would like to exercise our cultural heritage and right, we would like it to be enhanced and to be, to be recognized. Because all we do right now is kill a bunch of cows and drink a bunch of beer and sew fancy clothes, and yet it's just like a figment of imagination. After that day, there is nothing document it or to show like a testimony and story that such thing took place. So by instituting this type of a council, it will really help to further and enhance our cultural heritage.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I agree with you all, but my argument is this. I still want to say it is recognized, the native law. When you see people, they go to their home villages and they try to do their native law, they come to perfect it in the local government. which is the local government traditional marriage they issue traditional marriage certificate to it. We support them to be their duty. All they need to do is it is the responsibility of the Obas, the Oba, the Emir, or the chiefs. They're supposed to handle it and they put their signature to it. But the local government have taken it over.
Okay.
Because when you do a traditional marriage, you have right to marry more than one or two wives, which is also allowed in the law. So you do your marriage, they will issue you a certificate. You can even come back for the second time to the same local government, and they'll give you another certificate.
The second wife.
Yes, they do. Even I will say I know of somebody, which I might not want to mention names.
Okay, yeah, that's
who came to the local government for more than 3-4 times
to marry.
Yes, and certificate
he's documenting all his marriages, right?
Yes. the certificate was issued for about 3 to 4 wives. Then that is the traditional marriage. They only come to perfect it in the local government.
Certificates are not issued at the
it's supposed to be issued either at the palace of the Obas. Yeah, because a traditional marriage is supposed to be issued in the Oba's palace, as the case may be.
But if we look at the secular Nigeria, like our constitution, most of these traditional institutions we're talking about, it's not really enshrined into the institution, into the constitution of Nigeria like that. So, in a sense, when I said at the beginning that we have to advocate for a way how we can reconcile our constitution with our culture, so that he can reflect the people he's meant to govern. So, like my brother said, Brother Victor said, involving the legislative body is going to be very, very paramount in terms of achieving this objective.
Thank you. Why it might not go to the House of Assembly? It might just they will just put it. Let's just say Nigeria. We are talking of Nigeria here. It is not a state affair. Then the Senate House and the National Assembly there. Then our Obas, our traditional council,
right,
will approach them, telling them that this is our duty. Recognize us.
A matter of jurisdiction.
To it.
Okay.
Yes. Either in the Senate, not in the. If you do it in the State Assembly, we are talking of like one state.
Yes.
Okay. But they will take it to the Senate.
For general.
Or after the Senate, the National Assembly will come in. We have a senator. We have a House of Rep members. It can be any of them that can pick it up, and they will pass it into law.
Exactly.
Yeah, when they pass it into law, know how it will be recognized, it will be gazetted.
So now they will have delegates.
Yes, then when they gazette it, it will be known all over the world. When you press, you Google and all that, you will get it there. That this is a traditional marriage certificate. Okay, recognized one. I think.
But when we're talking about Nigeria as a whole, right? We know as our country is. If we depend on Nigeria to take this, it might be a very tumultuous task. But if we can encourage one state to run a pilot program and see how beneficial this could be, then it can be adopted by the federal government. But if you're encouraging the federal government to go ahead, it will never get done. But if we can start a pilot program, maybe even at the local government jurisdiction. If, for instance, let me take my state, for example, and my local government, already local government. If they decided to divorce themselves of that that duty and said this duty is supposed to be with the traditional council, and maybe the Oba of Benin approached you already and said, look, this traditional wedding, I know you've been issuing a lot of certificate for it, but you did not meet the standard of what we consider marriage in our culture. We would like to supervise or take, our supervision over this particular jurisdiction so that we can enhance our culture. And that we might get a headway with that, because if one state or one local government can prove or show how formidable it is, then you can see that the other states can start adopting. Once about maybe 1/3 or 2/3 of the states in the nation accepts it, then the federal government will have no choice but to adopt that same policy and enshrine it into our constitution. But if we're going for constitution straight up, like, it's never going to get done. I'm very pessimistic about that.
Sorry, let me chip in a little. You see, in reference to that, what you just said, we have representatives from all senatorial and districts in various areas in Nigeria, which is very easy for them to do. They have wives and they have husbands at home. And Nigeria is into, I think, 6 geographical political zones. And these 6 political zones, they have royal fathers. And it does not necessarily mean that because you are a Yoruba, you will do the Yoruba traditional marriage. No. It's like, I'm from Benin. I can decide to do a Muslim marriage if I am a Muslim in Benin.
Yeah.
And the same thing, if I am a Christian in Benin, I can decide to do a Christian marriage.
Yes.
The same thing will be applicable to a Yoruba man in Osun State coming to Benin, because probably have affiliation with the Benin, to come and do the Benin traditional marriage. Yes. If he feels that the benefits, the protection,
the merits
will be of advantage to him, he can key into the Benin culture for marriage. So in a nutshell, if a Muslim person from the north can go to the south and say, because my wife is from the south, I want to do a Christian marriage, and it's generally accepted. Come on, anybody from this geographical location can choose from each zones where he wants to be.
I sincerely agree with you,
because
it makes a whole lot of points.
Because when they now put that into law, that these are the signatures you are going to be seeing in this marriage certificate. In the south, you have the Oba of Benin, the Atura of Warri, something like that, the Warri King. Then you have the other one from Ishekiri Kingdom.
Then you have one from Auchi area.
All from the Edo
traditional
State.
council.
All from the Edo State. There is what they call the chief in council.
Yes.
The signature will be there. The chief in council, the head of all the royal institution in Edo State is the Oba of Benin.
Yes.
With the signature will be there.
Yes.
In the Yoruba land, all the Obas, probably the Ooni of Ife,
yes,
the signature will be there, because Yoruba have more states than other. So if to say you put the Oba of Lagos signature, you put the Oba of Ijebu signature, you just put the Ooni of Ife signature to cover the whole Yoruba land. The same thing in the Ijaw Kingdom, you put one of their. So before you know it, not to complicate the whole thing for the international body. You said you married from Nigeria. Why is this from Ishekiri land? Oh, we have another. Oh my God, these people is something else. So to simplify all this, you make all this region put together, one person to sign the certificate. Everything is a done deal.
Great. Thank you very much. So since we know what to do, we have the problem, we know the solution. How do we achieve that solution now? Do we have to tell our prince here to go back to Nigeria and start the underground work?
Who knows if Prince is planning to marry a second wife?
And if he's planning to marry a second wife, he's not going to allow this whole whatever we're saying.
Probably
right now, right?
what we are saying now will be beneficiary to Prince Elema. And secondly, let me add to this. You see, so the divorce process is like when you are getting married traditionally, they will tell you the this and that. They say, listen, this is this, this is that. The person in question will now look at, is it going to be favorable to me or is favorable to my wife? Both parties should be protected. Not the way we are seeing it there. I have a right to marry more than one wife. Even the Bible did not kick against marrying more than one wife. People just go on that clause and say, Bible say one wife. He said, but you must care for the one you have. You must not cry or labor for things that you are supposed to provide. You can now go further to get another one. Not you neglect Cecilia and you are going for Margaret. It doesn't work like that. Sure. But pastors never preach that. They tell you one man, one wife.
Prince, please, do you have any last comment? Because out of time, so have any last comment for us?
The British American that is say one man, one wife. If you are divorcing, then you share property. But the same people, you see another way they come up, they are doing same sex marriage. Whom are they deceiving? You brought one, he does not work well. You are bringing another one, which is against our tradition. We don't do that. So everything the whites they are preaching, telling us to do, the Britain, the America, and all that. I think to we, a typical Benin man does not believe in their own way of life. So on that ground, we are saying our marriage should be recognized by the international body. The traditional institution is a very, very solid body that they fail to recognize.
It will be recognized if we have a document, like a testimony, like you had mentioned. So long as we have something to prove that this was done.
Yes,
it is like you said, honorable. So by advocating for this traditional wedding recognition, it will further enhance our culture and promote the awareness and the recognition of our cultural heritage. But to do that, we cannot circumvent the Constitution of Nigeria, which, as a republic, it is the governing rule. So that is why I was advocating that for this type of recognition of a traditional wedding to take place, the first and foremost we ought to do is to legislate it in a way. That is what I meant when I said marry the culture with the laws of the land. Because if we can do that, it will really help to see this idea flourish. It is not the government that actually changed the policy. It is the people that advocate for the change of the policy.
If a thing of this nature have to take place, there must be a constitution.
Amendment.
Not amendment. That is constitution.
Yes, the
guiding.
Yes.
The
traditional marriage.
Yes. So it's like what we're discussing.
Yes.
It's like a constitution.
Yeah.
Because before any matter can be put into law, there must be constitution. You right? They were made, adjust, and do also before the answer. Okay. Let it go.
True.
We want to have a traditional wedding with signature or stamp from the Oba Palace.
From the chief custodian.
You understand?
Of that culture.
That's the point of this conversation today. So drop your comment right there. Again, I believe this topic needs to continue, but not for today. We will come back again with some other guests and then let's talk about it until our voices are heard.
Amen.
And then we change this.
That's good.
Just get married in your street, your backyard, your home, and then have Jehovah sign it, and you boom, you're good. All right. For now, thank you very much for watching. Thank you guys, and have a great day.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.